what I know for sure is that speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have.
I've had rainbows in my clouds. And the thing to do, it seems to me, is to prepare yourself so that you can be a rainbow in somebody else's cloud.
We all really, really love one another. Deep down, we all love one another, and we need to get back to that.
All right, welcome to Authentically You podcast. I'm Dr. Julie Ducharme, and excited once again to talk with amazing people out there doing some really authentic things in our country, in our world. And as you guys know, in this podcast, we have such a wide variety, which is such a blessing, because I love this, because I learn about so many new people, new industries, things that are going on. And then I just bring these people into my network because they're amazing. And so I'm really excited today to have Marilyn and Douglas with me. I'm going to call them the dynamic duo because both of them are out there doing some amazing things. And so welcome to the podcast, Marilyn and Douglas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are excited because we have Lead and Empower Her She Talks coming up. And for those of you listening, you all know that I travel the country working on empowering women, but our men as well, in a variety of areas, including things like our veterans transitioning out of the military, helping people figure out, their path, different success and tips. And so what's really great about Marilyn and Douglas here, this dynamic duo, is both of them are helping people in a really amazing way. So I'm going to give you guys a moment to fill our listeners in on what you're doing. And Marilyn, why don't we start with you?
I tell you, I'm part of this team, and we both really go out there and do our thing, and we have a synergistic kind of quality. I have a private practice in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I work with families and women and men and people that just find themselves in hurt places and need to heal. And I work with lots of people around town, whether they're sent from the court system or they call me because they heard about me and they just want some help, maybe some direction in their life. I work with professionals who want to get to the next level and they don't know what to do and what's holding them back. And so we try to find out, what's going on and why can't we get to the next level. And of course, I do my thing and he does his. And tell him about you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination. I founded an organization called Veterans United for Justice, where I help other veterans like myself that suffer from PTSD, men and women. And with Marilyn having a private practice in therapy as a licensed professional counselor, between the two of us, me being a combat veteran that suffers from PTSD and her having training with PTSD, we're able to reach out and help a lot of veterans across this nation that are waiting for the VA system to kick in, waiting to get rated, for instance. And we do other things. One of the things I like to do, we call it music therapy, where everybody has some type of music that they enjoy listening to that brings them to another place and gets them out of the current problems they're having in life. So we have different performers that work with us, and when they're doing their concerts, people can sign up, and if they like rock music, then they look for a rock group or country and so forth. And then we take them, the vets and their family member, their loved one, to the show, where they not only get to see the show, but they also get to go backstage and meet the actual performer, the person that that they like listening to their type music. We've had everybody from Leonard Skinner to Ted Nugent, Hank Williams Jr., Kiss.
We went on the Kiss tour bus one time. That was really cool.
Mark Chestnut has been just a amazing guy with his help us out, and his band members, Dollar Ray and Timmy, great, wonderful people that just welcome our vets with open arms.
That's amazing.
And so, together we do, we do what we can to help our other human beings on this planet that God wants us to do our part to help and heal people.
What we found is that what you feed grows. And if you feed, let's say, something negative in your life, like if you're just going over and over and over whatever, reminiscing about what happened in an event, like it's something that they had PTSD from Afghanistan or Iraq, and it'll just get bigger, and that problem, it just makes it more in their life. But if you start focusing on other things, like if you get out of your home and listen to the music, it brings you into another place. That's why PTSD surface dogs work so well, because you can focus on them instead of whatever you're going through. And whatever you feed grows. So if, let's say, you're feeding, I don't have any money. Well, I don't have any money will keep growing. But if you focus on other things in your life, it's almost like the power of positive and power of negative attraction. You can attract that thing or other things in your life. So if you get your mindset out of where you are and you start pulling yourself up, it really helps.
That's really, I like that you guys are talking about that, and it's such a great way to look at it, what feeds grows. And you're right, we feed negativity in our life, it's going to grow. And we feed positivity, it's going to grow. And, we talk a lot about this as we travel the country with a lot of men and women about, what can they grow in their lives to move them in the right direction. And, I love this because we have a lot of people who make excuses out there. I don't know how you guys feel about that. There's a lot of excuses out there.
There are.
And there's a lot of big talk, and people all the time say, I want to do that. I want to do what you're doing. And I always say, why do you want to do what I'm doing? Why don't you do what you want to do? Oh, I can't do it because, of X, Y, and Z. And I hear a lot of excuses, but really, you guys are hitting the point that, people are feeding their negativity, and maybe we can talk about what type of tips do you give people on how to move feeding the negativity to feeding the positivity, in their lives.
Everybody's got a here and now where they are, and everybody's got a goal, what they want. It might be just a thought. It might be something that they really want to happen. So you need to actually, it's got to be tangible. You have to be able to touch it, feel it, smell it, whatever it is. Print out a picture of whatever it is. If your thing is happy, what does happy look like? And then, like, for me, happy would be, let's say, I want to go camping. Okay, so I want to put on a picture on my refrigerator of maybe of a campsite or where I want to go. And then I want to make steps to get to that goal. You can, if I said I want to be a doctor, okay, well, first I have to go and find out what kind of classes I have to take, and that's, if you just say this, you can't just tomorrow wear their white coat and go into the hospital and decide you're going to do surgery. You've got to do the steps. And people, they freeze on the steps. They don't know what to do. And so, because it's so big, it's huge. It's like telling a kid they got to clean their room, and they look at the room and they go, what do I have to clean? So you do the steps. And then once they do the steps, if you do one little step at a time, you're one bite further than where you were. And as long as you're moving forward, you're not staying stagnant. Dr. Julie, stagnant is, think about stagnant water. Stagnant water is stinky. It's got like a film over the top of it. It's not moving. As long as it's moving, you can get all the debris out, all the nastiness out. You can move forward in your life. So you have to take one tiny step at a time and not be stagnant.
I agree. I think that's a really good point. And, in today's society, and I work a lot with college kids and a wide variety of people, but I've been a college professor for about 18 years now. And, when we talk about excuses and people moving forward and taking steps, we live in this instant society who just wants everything instantly. I grew up in a very different family. It was a very hardworking, conservative Dutch family. You know, we worked on a farm, and I'll tell you, hard work on a farm is much different than hard work in the city. And I got a real reality check of how much hard work you had to put in to get a good product. And today it seems very much that, and I'd say probably more of our youth than our older generation, really want an instant fix. You know, they want it instantly. And
microwaves and the computers.
Exactly. And, you know, we have fast food, we have fast everything. And, you know, as you mentioned, taking the steps. Oftentimes I think people don't, you know, reflect on that and say, you know, it's going to take me 15 steps to get here. I'm not going to become an overnight sensation. But we see, like, you know, I don't know, there was some 13-year-old kid or something that made 26 million on YouTube doing something, you know, and people see that and they think, oh, that could be me. I could be a millionaire overnight. And I'm always telling people, you know, quality doesn't come overnight. It comes through experience. And so, you know, I think what you guys are talking about is really important. And you know, I really love the aspect, you know, it's near and dear to my heart, as you guys know, supporting our veterans and providing support for them. And Douglas, you were talking about, you know, music therapy, which I think is amazing. And especially that we have musicians who are willing to, you know, share their talents and times with people.
Yes.
For our veterans who are listening, can you give some suggestions on those who, you know, are transitioning out, and you mentioned they're waiting on things, some different ways that they could maybe spend their energy being productive and, you know, finding a way to find a smooth transition?
Well, probably the best thing you can do is to not isolate yourself in your home and away from your family. Too often, veterans end up where, you know, they just want to be left alone. They want to be, they don't believe anyone can understand them. And in some cases, it's true because, you know, unless they're talking to another vet or someone that's experienced what they have, then it's difficult for, you know, the average person that's never served in the military to understand or even have a clue about what they're going through. But when you come back from, whether it's, you know, one combat tour or 20, like some of the kids are today, sadly, and you self-medicate, or you don't go out there and seek help if you need it, and we know if we need help or not, but we try and be strong, and we think, well, I served in the military and I was in combat, and I'm not going to show any weakness. Showing weakness is not a negative. It's, you know, asking for help is not a negative, and we have to get past that stigma. We have to realize that we're only human, and to be a better person and able to not only help ourselves and help our family, but to move forward in life, you know, it's okay to ask for help every now and then. Mm-hmm. And the help's there. You know, there are thousands of organizations across America right now. Mine's just one of thousands that are set up to give that help and give that care. And it's a matter of just reaching out and finding who they are and learning the different benefits that are available to you, not only at federal level, but also at state level. Mm-hmm. And what helped me the most when I came back after my last tour was when I got involved with helping other veterans. Right. And being involved with their activities and doing things together with them, and then including their families with my family. Mm-hmm.
That's really healing to yes. reach out and help other people, because it gets you from the egocentric, you know, because you're centered around yourself, and whenever you start putting yourself out there, volunteering, even going to a nursing home and rubbing, you know, lotion on somebody's hands, or just talking to people that are older and listening to them, or even, you know, children, just listening to them and getting out of yourself, then there's healing in that. And Doug is exactly right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, just a few years ago, Julie, I was I was in a place in my life that was very, very dark, and I woke up pretty much daily wondering if today is the day that I'm going to end my life. And I prayed to God to help see me through it. I was very blessed to have family members that served in the military and also had served in combat that understood what I was going through. And I never gave up. I kept pushing through the pain. I went through a divorce because of it. I lost my children because of it. But today, without giving up, today I'm an example that you can overcome this thing we call PTSD. You can get medications, you can get therapy, you can rebuild your family life. You may not get your spouse back, but there's no reason you can't get your kids back. I was blessed to, meet Marilyn several years ago, and then we fell in love and got married. And then together take what we've learned in life and put it forward to help our fellow man and woman. And PTSD, a lot of people have to realize it isn't just for vets. Anyone can suffer from PTSD. Just experiencing a traumatic event in their life.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of that happening in our country, and we're not addressing it as a nation the way we should be.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. And thank you for sharing something so vulnerable, because I think that our veterans and all of our people who are struggling need to hear this, because you're right. Recently my book I put out, the stats in it talks about suicide statistics. And what a lot of people don't realize is that women have the highest suicide statistic and the highest success rate. And when I was doing that research, I actually was shocked by it, because we don't talk about suicide very often. And when we do, it's very stereotyped, I believe. And you talk about everyone has PTSD, and I agree with you. I know many people have PTSD from abusive families, a traumatic event. I just recently interviewed an amazing young girl who was in a severe car accident, got hit by a drunk driver, and she had severe brain damage. And of course, she's survived it and now traveling the country speaking to people. But I can only imagine, she talked about some of the pain that she went through in recovery and the PTSD that she has from that. And, you're right, is that, we don't address PTSD. We don't address, this. It's kind of like, let's not talk about it. If we don't talk about it, then it's not happening. And, so many men and women out there are struggling with depression, with exactly what you're talking about. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I've had such a passion for our vets and many people, is because it's like, hey, if you're not feeling well, you go to the doctor, right? If you're having an issue with your teeth, you go to your dentist. So if you're having an issue, struggling, mentally with how you're dealing with things, why are we not going to our therapist and saying, hey, I'm struggling? And I think people think that they're going to look crazy or weird or strange if they do that. I mean, do you guys see that or hear that often when people...
Yes, indeed.
You know what I do? I see people and they call me up and they say, you know what, I need, help with my marriage or help with my relationship, but I know my significant other will not come. And I say, listen, come for the first time. And then what you do is then I'll teach you how to get them involved. And then whenever they come, I say, now go home and tell them that you really need work on yourself, and that you need him to come or her to come with you and to talk about you, not about them. Okay, so then they get in the door and then they're able to really open up everything. Yeah. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is so different than what I thought. I said, I'm a different kind of therapist, So I'm real with people. That's one of the things that I do. But you have to be real, and you have to. If you're with somebody that you feel uncomfortable with, a therapist, change. Go to another one. It doesn't mean that was the cure all, the best find ever. It's like shopping for shoes. You put a pair on, you're not going to just wear those. What if it hurts? And therapy hurts. It doesn't. It's not like easy, and that's why a lot of people shy away from it, because it really does open up all those vulnerable parts inside of you, and you have to be ready to open them up and to say, okay, here I am, and to feel like, you know, you're comfortable enough that somebody can come in and look at all the deep, dark, secret parts, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is scary. You know, I always say to people, it's terrifying to try and make change in your life because change is scary, and
Yep.
we don't always want to make change, even if it's good for us, right? I mean, I always talk about, like, you know, people love to talk about diets, and why do we have this high, you know, January everyone wants to diet, and by February everyone's done dieting, you know. And I always tell people I don't do diets, and I don't do New Year's resolutions, because I believe change should happen all the time. So I'm not going to set myself up for failure. I'm just going to try and always be making good changes in my life.
You know, that's smart. A diet has the word die in it, and that's why we
Exactly.
don't like it.
I always tell people I'd rather be a little more rotund and happy than skinny and hungry. So, you know, that's my resolution.
Exactly.
Well, everything you guys are saying really resonates with, you know, everything we're doing with Lead and Empower Her, because, you know, I always tell people, and you guys made some very good points about, you know, not only our veterans, but people in general and the struggle. And today, more than ever, statistics are showing that depression and suicide are at an all-time high. And
Yes.
that just, it makes my heart ache, because I'm like, why is that happening? Why are we such a troubled society? And living here in Coronado, we have the Coronado Bridge, and on about a regular basis, 1 to 2 people jump off of that bridge a week. And
Wow.
I had no idea the suicide rate until I moved out here. But then it really brought to light of, like, these people feel so lost that they are jumping off a bridge. And so this bridge is the second highest suicide rate in the nation.
Wow.
And they're trying to, you know, make some changes so it's not accessible like that. But, you know, everything you guys are saying, and that's why I feel like, you know, traveling the country and empowering people and helping people to find that path, that positive path, and get them out of where they're at is so important. Society sells a lot of crap. I mean, we sell images, we sell how you should look, what you should think. You know, and I have a young daughter who's 11, and, you know, I'm working very hard to make sure that she does not get caught up in the crap that this society is selling.
Good.
You know, there's so much pressure out there. Pressure from internal pressure, external pressure, pressure from your bosses, pressure finances, pressure to be, you know, just like the Joneses next door or whatever. People just really need to find their own path, like you said, and not compare themselves. But that's what we do. We compare ourselves.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, that's what we're trying to change. And obviously, as well, that's what you guys are trying to change, you know, is make a difference in people's lives, and, you know, especially our veterans as well. So thankful for that, because, you know, there's a lot of stereotypes and misrepresentation out there of our veterans. And, you know, I get to spend, you know, my time all the time with veteran groups, working with them, and I'm constantly blessed by their skills, their love for our country. And that's why I feel it's so important to give back in any way we can. And so I'm really excited. We're coming to the end of the podcast, but can you guys give both a little teaser on your talks you're going to do? Obviously, I don't want you to give away the whole thing, but just a little few topics that you guys are going to hit at the conference in Nashville.
Yes, I'm going to tell an 8-hour story in 10 minutes.
I love it. I love it.
It's about a woman that was born in 1924, and she passed away last year at the age of 95. And what she went through in her lifetime is the most empowering story, I believe, that I could share with women, to help them understand that no matter what obstacles you face in life, when you hear what this woman managed to pull off, you can do it too. You can do what she did, and anything that's thrown in front of you, you can actually press on and get through the pain, agony, or whatever you're faced with in your life. So I'm going to share that story in 10 minutes, and
we'll give
might
you
even
15.
write a book about it.
We'll give you 15.
Okay.
And I'm gonna talk about how we hurt and how we emerge from the hurts, guarded and vulnerable to be hurt again, and why we hurt, why we end up going into the same kind of relationships again, and what we need to do to get into a different path so that we can choose something different. And I'm gonna talk about how we build ourselves up and we make ourselves different, and how we can overcome some of our past, and it is our past. We look back and we say, you know what, that's not who I am, that's just my circumstance, and how to move forward.
I love that. I love both those topics, and I am so excited to get a chance to hear you guys. And what's really great for those of you who are listening, if you can't be in Nashville, this will be our first event that we're live streaming. And so you can get a ticket for $25, which is so cheap for all the amazing people that are coming, and get to hear it from your computer, your phone, wherever you can log on. And just so you know, all our listeners know, all the ticket sales that come in, that money goes 100% to our veterans. So not only do we have our Combat Boots to Heals program, we have professional development programs. We have now a project management program that we have added, so that our veterans can come in and get their PM certification. And we also have a automotive program in Bakersfield, California, where we work with the VA out there as well. So, you know, every time you guys purchase a ticket, that's where that money goes. And so we're really excited for this event, and really excited. Marilyn and Douglas jumped on last minute for us, and I'm so excited that they did. I think it's going to be fantastic. And can you guys both give us, do you have websites that our listeners can go to and check out more information about what you guys are doing that you can share?
Sure. I have a website. It's douglasducote.com, D-U-C-O-T-E, douglasducote.com, which is my name.
Facebook.
On Facebook, I have the Douglas Ducote Show, which we put on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and it's Douglas Ducote Show on Facebook, as well as American Patriot by the Grace of God, and my nonprofit's Facebook page is Veterans United for Justice, and I have a YouTube channel that's doing really, really well right now under my name, Douglas M. Ducote Sr., with over 17 million people have viewed my videos.
Wow.
So it's
awesome.
It's moving along pretty good.
Awesome.
And I am Douglas's wife, but professionally I go by my last name, Williams. So you can reach me at Marilyn Williams LPC at gmail.com if you want to send me a note. I'm also at bestlifeswla.com, and I'm can be reached through there too. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm, like I said, just absolutely excited for this She Talks in Nashville, and I know it's going to be fantastic. And so for those of you who might be listening right now and you're like, hey, I'm driving in my car, I couldn't write down those websites, don't worry, we'll put it in a link that we'll send out, so you can go to our Facebook page, Lead and Empower Her, my Facebook page, Dr. Julie Ducharme, or our Authentically You page, and all that info will be on there for you guys. So once again, just want to encourage you guys to go to the leadempowerher.com website, check it all out, see how you can be a part of this. And as I always say, live, love, laugh, and always be your authentic self.